Today we discuss Arsenal's fixtures with one of the biggest Arsenal fans I know. Welcome back on the show, buddy. Congratulations, first of all, on closing last season at your best ever rank. How is the break treating you?
Good. The last season ended with such a whirlwind. I never expected to close in on a top 500 rank. My target for the season was 20K, and I was somehow doing well. I was happy, but last few weeks exploded really well. The only thing that I'm looking at is a bit of Arsenal transfer news.
And obviously, we will touch base upon what Arsenal is doing in the transfer window. A lot of names are linked. I think there was one signing which has already happened in Fabio Vieira, if I'm not wrong. So we will touch base upon that. So let's get into it. These are the first 8 fixtures for Arsenal. And there's a huge, since the time, I think it's been, 42 hours, the fixtures have been released. The initial reactions among the community is that Arsenal has the best fixtures, whether it's the top 4 or, it's the first 4 or the first 6. So here we are with the first 8. So what's your first reaction to this?
Especially the first game week, right, is something that's a bit tricky for us. It brings
Yeah,
down a bit of not so good memories of last season, when we went away on a Friday night to Brentford,
Brentford, right?
even though
Yeah.
there was a backdrop of COVID, etc., etc. But by default, we have seen Crystal Palace away matches being a bit difficult, not only for
Mm,
Arsenal. Traditionally, last season, I think Pep also dropped points there, right? Vieira has built a good team, though so far they have not had any signings, not any big
yeah,
rumors as well. So we'll have to see how they build the team. But that's going to be one tricky game to start with. Other than that, yes, overall I'm very happy with the first 8 fixtures for Arsenal. Unlike last season where we were really, really late with our transfers, like you said, mentioned, we have actually closed 2 transfers now. One is
right.
Marquinhos, who's Brazilian, but he's a really young player, and I think he's one for the future. But we
Mm,
have a out of the blue signing which came which was announced yesterday, and by today we already have Porto confirming the same, though Arsenal is yet to
right.
officially announce. But a really exciting player to watch. Last season I think he had 8 goals and 13 assists in Premier Liga. Obviously, like any fan, I've spent last night to just going through the stats, going through the player
It's
style,
fair enough.
etc.
Yeah. So is he like an attacking midfielder or is he like a CDM?
So, no, he's an attacking midfielder for sure. In Portugal, I've seen them comparing a bit with Bruno and Bernardo Silva, especially because he's lefty and the fact that, he can play deeper, he can play forward, he has played on the wings as well. I
Right.
think a lot of, features similar with Bernardo Silva. To be honest, it's very difficult to say where he'll play exactly in the Arsenal system.
Mm,
There are a lot of, rumors that Arteta will finally move into a 4-3-3 system, and
right.
in that case Fabio Vieira might be our third LCM.
It's amazing how Premier League big top teams are just bombarding the Portuguese league and picking up talent from there.
Correct.
So
The
which is to
league
be seen everywhere.
there, seems really interesting, especially for midfielders. I have been reading a bit since last year about the kind of players who are coming in. Right, a lot of good names, a lot of good profile. Once Bruno came in, and it completely
Yeah.
changed
Yeah.
the way we looked at Portuguese league. Right, so I feel
Right.
we will continue to have good talent coming in.
Looking at let's say the first 4 home games, Arsenal obviously the last season I think the home was terrific. Don't see any problem in these 4 fixtures. Maybe Aston Villa to some extent.
Yeah, yeah, same feelings for me. I think Leicester, Fulham, and Everton. I feel the game will be much more open in nature,
Mm,
and Arsenal have shown at home they are a really formidable attacking side, as well as they have, brought. I think they got a lot of clean sheets at home last season, right? So I expect a similar, set of results at the start as well. Aston Villa is going to be a tricky team because I think Gerrard is taking a bit of time in settling
yeah.
down his team, but he has come out as a really good coach, and it's great to see him utilize that knowledge to really build up a good Aston Villa side. I think they played a lot of good football, even though it was inconsistent. Villa always remain active in the market as well, right?
Oh yes, I
And
think they had the first signing right on the very next day of game week 38. So and they got
exactly.
a very good defender. So So they are
Yes.
looking to enforce their backline.
Yeah, yeah. So they are also rebuilding the squad. So I think this season they might be in the contention for Europa places. So that would be the target for them for sure. So it might be a match to watch out for.
Looking at the away games, as you obviously mentioned about Crystal Palace, and as very rightly said, Crystal Palace at home was amazing last season. Totally opposite of what they were on the road. Then you have Bournemouth, which should be winnable, and then is Manchester United and Brentford. Manchester United, whatever happened with them last season, new manager, they would be facing Liverpool in game week 3, and this will be the second big game amongst the top six. Game week 6 and game week 8 against United and Brentford. These look to be a little like slippery surfaces.
So United, obviously, it's so difficult to predict, right? They have had
Yeah,
a good line of players leaving the team already. They are yet to go out close out any player so far,
yeah,
right? The coach obviously comes with a bit of pedigree. ETH is known to be a proponent of modern football, right? Very strong tactical style. Work was really immense at Ajax, and that's
yeah.
why it's a bit difficult to see how that comes out, right? Last season I felt we played really well at Old Trafford, but somehow
Mm.
made mistakes that obviously someone like Cristiano Ronaldo just makes you pay. Nowadays it's the sense of aura that has gone away from United and Old Trafford.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to it. I feel it's also an opportunity for Arsenal to make a statement.
Whenever a new manager comes in, as we have seen so many times in the past, the first place that they really want to stamp an authority is at home. So yeah, so this will be an amazing affair. It'll be a good game. It's always a good game between United and Arsenal. Brentford away would again their second season, and we know second season syndrome is real. So yeah, these two games will be quite interesting. So yeah, overall, first 8 fixtures. Any random guesses? How many points are you really looking at out of 24?
I hope we start strong. I think the target should be something close to 20. So we might drop 3, 4 points. But I think very high, but very optimistic, and something that Arsenal should look to do, at the start of the season.
Let's. So this was the first 8 fixtures. Now we take a look at the first 16 fixtures, because after the first 16 fixtures is the break for the World Cup. Now in this chart, or in this diagram, what we've done is we have put the Europa League matches as well, wherever you see E, that means there's a Europa League match between game week 6 and game week 7, then 7 and 8. There are two midweeks as well, in game week 5 and game week 12. After a good start of first 8 games, then things really become tricky, as expected, because a good run of fixtures can't carry on forever, especially from 9, 10, 11, 12. So Liverpool, Europa League, Tottenham, Europa League, Leeds, and then City is a midweek as well. So this will be tricky.
Definitely. I think those first two Europa games, right, would be vital.
Yeah.
If we do well there, we'll have the flexibility to really rest our players for obviously the Liverpool and the Spurs game. Right? Something that we would be really looking at, trying to get some points against Spurs, definitely, and this time against Liverpool, hopefully, right at home,
Yeah.
trying to get some points away. And if we do that, and if we have good Europa fixtures, I think that will make things a bit easier, when it comes to balance. Of course, Arteta and Edu both have that in mind, and that's the reason I think we see, players like Fabio Vieira coming in, right? They will
Mm.
give us good quality bench strength.
Yeah.
People who can start in PL as well as in Europa. This season, I'm hoping that we add this depth to be able to rotate things around a bit, as well as not lose the quality. That's going to be really vital.
So let's say first 8 first. One obviously one definitely one asset from Arsenal goes into our FPL teams. Defense looks to be stable. I don't think you are linked with any defender. What would be your strategy in terms of Arsenal assets for your FPL team?
See, it looks really good to go for the attacking assets, right? Because
Yeah,
we do have strong, good home games, right? Leicester at home normally is a high scoring game.
yeah.
Similarly, Fulham, even Aston Villa, we did score well last year. And Everton, definitely, we ended with such a good win, right? I would love to have the attacking assets, but this is going to be one of the toughest seasons in FPL. This is something that I keep on telling people miss out. When we discuss why FPL is tougher, right, and more unpredictable, is because the kind of assets that keep coming into the game, right, coming into
Yeah,
the league is incredible, right? It was not like
yeah,
this 3 years back, right? So now you have Liverpool have a really strong forward coming in, David Nunes. We have
Yeah,
City who has come, bought an absolute monster in Haaland, right? So there is lot more prime assets in play than it was, 3 years
true.
back, and that means, we'll always have to, reduce the kind of money we are putting in other players, right? If last year we had Saka and Odegaard, start for around 5.5 million, or right, and we had Martinelli
Yeah,
start for 5 million, or right. I do not expect at all. Saka has given more than 150 points last season, close to 200 points, right? So I expect his price to go up. Is it going to be 7.5? It's going to 7.5. He's going to be your only 7.5 midfielder in the team, right? So a lot of
correct.
this will come down to price balance, right? And whether Martinelli starts. So Martinelli is a player that I'm going to really look at. While I would love to have Saka in my team, definitely as an Arsenal fan, also as a a good FPL move. But Martinelli might come out as a winner given the price differential. And say
He
Saka,
was five. He was five last season, right?
yeah, starting five, I
Yeah,
think he ended close to 5.5. Cheaper than 6 million. I feel that he'll be my first asset to bring in, and then
right.
it will be a 4.5 million defender from Arsenal. So this season, I think that is the two that I'm currently looking at. Whether I can go three or not, depends completely on the how prices are. Someone like Gabriel Jesus coming in as a forward, and if starting, then you might want to look at him. But at the same time, if he doesn't start and you see Eddie and Nketiah back on the forward line, right, especially
Yeah,
for the first 3-4 matches, at
correct.
his price, he would be my third forward or the second forward even, right? Two players is how I'm looking at things. One midfielder, one defender.
I think Tomiyasu would still be 4.5 because he missed half of the season as well. White
Yes.
definitely is not going to be 4.5. He will be five. Ramsdale, I'm sure
I'm
is going to be five as well. And the way the fixtures have landed for the top three, top four teams, especially the top three in terms of Arsenal, City, and Liverpool, you would want most of the your team to be mostly comprised of them. But as you rightly pointed out, most of them are, if not most, but half of them are premium assets. How do you do the balancing act? How many premiums plus how many enablers? And how many you will obviously really will have to study the promoted teams as well, because there might be a few gems here and there. The first international break is after game week 8. I'm assuming that would be the time where people would love to play their first wild card. If people do play the first wild card, looking at 9, 10, 11, 12 with the Europa League fixture, I think we might see an exodus of Arsenal players from teams.
that would be the popular move that we will expect, right? Game
Right.
week 9 wild card coming in, and a lot of people moving out of Arsenal assets and looking to rebalance it with teams from other with players from other teams with good fixtures.
Europa League, obviously, the schedule is not out because the teams are not yet finalized. All the teams, and when Klopp came in, Liverpool was playing Europa. The only obviously the charm of Europa has gone up now because there are a lot of teams, good teams, who have started playing Europa, and the whole reward of winning Europa and qualifying for the Champions League is huge, especially for the Premier League clubs, because the fight is so massive in the first 6 7 teams. Uh, the only issue with Europa is the destinations where you have to travel to. And looking at these first 97 days, where all these fixtures have been crunched into, especially for the top 6 teams, they play 23 fixtures. So I'm not surprised looking at how Spurs is going with the transfer business because they need bench. How Arsenal is getting linked with most of the players because they need bench. So bench strength would play a massive, massive part.
And that would impact us as well, as FPL
Yeah,
managers. Let's not forget, we have the 5 substitution rules now, right, in
mm,
the coming season. So we'll
exactly.
have a lot more rotation in picture. As much as we would like to, go full on, on the prime assets, I think this is something to remind the, managers, FPL managers out there, that you will need to balance your squad. You will need to bring in players who play for minutes, because you will have a lot of people being subbed, especially teams having Europa leagues, teams having Champions League critical fixtures, especially those first 3 matches, right, is where teams focus, right? If they do
Yeah.
well, they can let a bit easy on the next 2-3 matches, right? So it's going to be something that we'll have to keep in mind when we make our FPL decisions.
So what we look at now is the toughest fixture. And there are there are many phases where you can pick, but with this we thought are the toughest phases for Arsenal. The top one has away games in Premier League, so Liverpool away, West Ham away, and City away. And if Arsenal qualifies for the quarterfinals, the Europa League quarterfinals are in the middle as well. Between these two set of fixtures, where do you see Arsenal, and where would you like Arsenal to really get more points?
I think 30 to 33 is going to be really, really tough, right? Assuming we are down to the quarterfinals, right? And that's where you will actually play your first team, right? You cannot skip that. One, it's a European trophy. Arsenal recently have not won any, right? They need to, focus on that as well. And again, it gives you an alternate route to Champions League. Like you said, PL is so tough nowadays to get into top four. It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping maybe we see a different West Ham by then, a different
Mm.
Southampton by then. We don't know how these
Yeah.
teams will look like, right? Southampton again is a team which normally starts the season well and doesn't do by the end, right? That's how
Correct.
the history has been. I hope the
Yeah.
same continues. Looking at the fixtures, and West Ham again, I don't know. Last two seasons they have done well, but again they have not been really consistent. But because again they have also lacked, depth in the team.
Yeah.
But this time they will not be in Europa, right? I think they might be in conference. I don't know how seriously they'll take. Maybe they'll just drop out like Spurs did like last season, right? I'm just hoping things are a bit lighter for us in those two fixtures. Then
Mm.
it might be a bit easier for Arsenal and Arteta to handle, but it will be really tough. 30 to 33 is not going to be easy. 9 to 12, is something that will give us a picture of how much Arsenal
Yeah.
is ready. So that will show us exactly where Arsenal is, how strong Arsenal is. Can we take some points of Liverpool? These are not going to be easy, matches at all for Arteta as well as the entire squad.
And he's being backed by the owners now with funds and spending. So yeah, you rightly said 9 to 12 would be those three games are at home against Liverpool, Spurs, and City. So if you want to take points from these teams, it has to be at home. Obviously, there's just rumors about Gabriel Jesus since day one. Transfer might happen as well. Does him coming in, does it really make Saka's potential in terms of FPL go down a little bit? And I'm assuming Gabriel Jesus is going to play as a striker and not like a winger, what he played under Pep.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons, Jesus is so high on, demand is his experience, obviously, in PL, right?
Yeah,
He's still young as a player. But one of the reasons that I feel, one of his key strengths is his versatility. He has played as a right winger multiple times for City, while
yeah,
obviously we would, prefer playing him in a striker position. But the thing is, even in Arsenal, we have a lot of interplay of positions, right? Of a lot of movements in and around, and that's something that Arteta wants to continue, similar to
yeah,
the City squad. So I feel someone like Jesus coming in, someone who's a lot more mobile than Lacazette, might help Saka as well, because he will bring in Saka. He'll bring Saka into the game a lot more, or maybe he will finish off the chances that Saka
yeah.
creates, that someone like Lacazette was not doing. So we might see a bit rise in the number of assists.
Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see if Jesus transfer happens, who would be taking the penalties. So, so that's an interesting one as well. What would be one thing which would disappoint you if, let's say, in the first eight fixtures?
What would be the one? Obviously, results are going to be really key for us this
Yeah,
season, right? Last year was about progress, about how we are using the young players, but this year we want to see the young players move even a step forward. Now that we have lived this last season, right? And now that we have seen that how close to top four we can get, to be honest, for me, in terms of quality and performances, I feel, we have a credible, chance or opportunity to take top three, the third position. But I think Chelsea has that chink in its armor currently, right?
correct.
Something that Arsenal should look to, attack, right? So this is that season that they should look not only as at the fourth place, but
Yeah,
also as a
absolutely.
third place of solidifying themselves as a prospective title challenges for the upcoming seasons, right? That's why I said I would like us to have a 20 pointer start. Anything less or quite a bit less, say somewhere around 15, 16, will be a tad bit disappointing because that will not be in the
Mm.
direction that we want to take.
Because, as you rightly said, Spurs do not have a good start of fixtures. Chelsea are the same. So the first eight fixtures really are critical for Arsenal to have a really great start. Here is wishing Arsenal all the best. I'm absolutely excited to see how they're gonna really perform this season. They have been really backed by the owners. They're doing some decent transfer business. They're linked to some interesting names as well. Wish you all the best. And when are you coming up with your first draft?
Thanks a lot, man. I mean, I'm really excited about this season as well. It's so vital, so important for us. Like I said, I'm just completely blank. I'm trying to utilize this time, reading books, going for my other hobbies, right?
You're doing the
But
right thing. You're doing the right thing.
I think August first week is when I, sit down and start, creating that draft.
All right, Sankalp, thank you very much. And we shall connect again during the season or maybe pre-season or whatever it is, whenever we have the time.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, man.